Attention, this is your captain speaking.
I'm Eva Moriali, travel editor and freelance writer.
I'm Julia Moser, a writer, producer, and woman on the go. Prepare for takeoff.
And this is I Couldn't Help But Wander,
the show to get trivia, tips, tricks, and juicy tidbits from all around the world.
the show that asks how many babies will be born 9 months after an event where we bring the hottest people alive to the most romantic place on Earth.
The show that asks, is it still the most beautiful city in the world if the river is filled with poop?
Well, so what are we actually doing here, Julia? What is the show about?
Well, basically think of us as your fun travel aunts. Eva, you actually travel for your job. And I just like to spend money and go to fun places. But we're going to talk to experts and get insider tips for every destination.
And annoy those experts with silly trivia questions, plus get answers to all those pesky, nosy travel dilemmas you might have.
And today, we're talking about Paris, specifically the Paris Olympics, which are happening right now. All right, we got to get the poop out of the way.
Yeah, we do. So to speak.
Okay.
Where are we at? Update me, because
can I tell you something?
Prime Minister was supposed to swim in the sea.
Yes. Okay, so for people who maybe don't know, who are not as online as we are, basically they're planning on doing a bunch of Olympic events in the Seine River. But the river, which has been used as a sewage dumping ground and places where people would dump bodies, yes, for centuries, is not sanitary. But the the mayor of Paris, was gonna prove how healthy it was to swim in, and so someone started a hashtag saying it was hashtag I will poop in the Seine that day.
In French, of course.
Yeah, in French. It was
whatever the French word for poop
I took French in high school, but we didn't learn that. But
damn it.
I have been Googling, Paris poop update. Update, protest, poop process update. Every...
Paris poop protest update. Say it 3 times fast. That's the name of this episode. Screw whatever name we had. Paris food.
Have you ever been to a city though, during a big, you know what I mean? We're talking about
during
Paris
a major
Olympics,
sporting event.
Billions of people are going to flood the city. Have you ever done something like that where you're going to
No, I got invited to the Kentucky Derby this year and I turned it down. I turned it down. Maybe one year I'll go, but I've had friends that have done that. It's just a lot of. Here's the thing. I'm 34 now. A bender for 2 days. A 2-day bender in Kentucky. And here's the thing. I really do love the South. So I'm going to eat,
you won't see a
until
vegetable.
I'm sick.
Yeah.
And then a bourbon bender.
The mint in your mint julep,
they don't
right?
make vegetables in the South. Literally, truly. I've been there where I'm green juice, in Nashville. So
I was going to say, when the Olympics are here in 4 years, are you going to stay?
God.
Are you going to yeah, that's what I
should rent out my house. Should rent out my apartment. But you know what? I do like the idea of this global influence coming and being able the pomp and circumstance.
And getting to see weird sports in person, I think would be fun. Canoe slalom or handball.
Love that. My 2 faves. Gotta have it.
Over 15 million people are expected to travel to Paris for the Olympics. Whew. So if you're one of them, or if you just want some inspo for your next Parisian adventure, we got a real treat in store for you.
Yes, we do. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be chatting with Allison Isambert, Paris local professional tour guide and concierge.
Ooh la la.
Today we're talking with Allison Isambert. Allison lives in Paris and she runs Tower to Bridge Tours, which provides personalized tours and concierge services for anyone lucky enough to be visiting Paris.
She's also one of the fabulous Cerca Concierges for the city of Paris, who you can chat with in the Cerca app about any and all of your Paris questions. Allison, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I feel honored.
Oh, we're honored. The honor's all ours. You're classing us up a little bit with your Parisian influence. Can you explain a little bit about what you do as a personal tour guide, what your day-to-day is like, what your job's like, what you love about it, all the things?
Great. I'd love to. So The number one thing that I like to think about is that I am your memory maker and a gateway. I'm like the ambassador of the city and your best friend while you're here, and even when you're not here.
That.
It's really great. I often walk through the streets and I find myself lost in thought, and I'll think, why is everybody walking so slow? Why are they standing in the middle of the sidewalk? Why are they, and I look up and I realize, oh my gosh, there's the Eiffel Tower, and it makes me stop and like take a breath and be like, okay, relax and look at this amazing place that you're in. And that gift that guests give to me of showing me that wonder and awe and love makes me feel like the same every time.
Oh, that's lovely. How did you get into this world?
It's funny, but I've always had a customer service background. My first job was at Disneyland. And my last job before I came to France was as a sommelier tour guide in the Napa and Sonoma valleys. And so it just seemed a natural progression to me to start my own business and go ahead and do tours in Paris.
What kinds of tours do you do?
I have a few tours, which are really great because, like I said, it's like I'm your friend in Paris. And what that means is I'm not your friend while you're here. I'm your friend forever. And I get people that come back year after year. They're in love with Paris. And I have to keep evolving the tours in a way where I get a chance to see them and be with them more than just, going out to dinner and stuff, which is great. I love that they love inviting me to be a part of their experience. But in turn, I want to show them something too. I want to give them another experience that maybe they weren't expecting. So a couple of the tours that I do that are really interesting. Well, my very favorite, I will clue you in on, is I do a marché tour, but I do two marché tours. I do one that is like Bastille and Aligre, where it's food and like prepared food and vegetables and flowers and knickknacks, purses, whatever you want.
That's the one I want to go on.
It's really fun. It's really fun, except I got to be honest with you. That's like a really cool half day. The really cool full day is to go out to Le Pouce, which are the legendary flea markets of Paris.
Ooh, yes, that's what I want. That sounds incredible.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. And it's such a treat because this is the locations where set designers go to get all of that great stuff for the movies that make you go, wow, that's so cool. I want a sword too.
I do want a sword now that you mention it.
I
know. The Great Paris Layover Tour, we're assuming we saw that one on your website. Is that kind of like a greatest hits?
Yeah, it is. Originally, I designed it for people that are on a layover. Layovers are not like a concept really very well known outside of the United States, but I explained to them, you fly in, and if we have enough time, I need to look at their timing because people forget that the airport is a good 45 minutes away from the city. So in order for us to really have like a decent day, we need to have enough time for them to get to the city, a good 4 hours for a tour of the highlights of the city. And then I got to get them back to the airport in time for them to check in and do the standard, however many hours it is that you want to be at an airport before your next flight. So if all works out and the stars are aligned, I go ahead and get them and I show them all the big stuff. And if we can, get them lunch or at least get them some baguette sandwiches to bring back to the airport with them. Get all those key pictures that you need to have to show that you've been in Paris and go from there. But I found also that there's an entire market of people, which is really handy for the Olympics, that don't have a lot of time. Sometimes there's business folks that only have a day before they need to fly out. And so they take that one day and say, let's make it happen, Captain. And so there we go out and we do up the town. It's great.
I love that. Speaking of the Olympics, are you excited? Are you feeling nervous? Are you anxious? Is the town going to be mobbed? What are you feeling?
Well, personally, I'm super excited. I have tickets to go, and I think it's like historic and a really great thing. But I'm not knocking Parisians in any way, but they're kind of haters, and so they're not really in the mood for the Olympics. But at the same time, they're not in the mood for tourists in general. So, the more tourists, the more hate, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like all of Western Europe is kind of feeling that way right now. We just saw Spain squirting water guns at tourists in Barcelona.
Right. To be fair, though, I say that they're haters, but at the same time, they hated the Eiffel Tower when it first went up, and then they learned to love it. So it's like hating the Olympics. By the end, they might be like, oh, oui, the Olympics are fantastique.
I feel like this is the French way. Being a hater is part of being a Parisian. I'm assuming.
It is.
Are there any spots that you think are majorly overrated and you say are fine to skip in the sense of like people coming in and out of Paris quickly?
With the rise of the internet and especially TikTok, there's a lot of places that people really feel like they need to want to go to that I don't agree with. On the restaurant scene, everybody wants to do like Pink Mama, Café Fleur, and Carnet, and they're good places, but they're just really hyped up. And there's other places where you don't have to wait in line and you get maybe even a better quality experience. As far as locations go, I feel like, we get a lot of people that say, oh, I want to go to Emily in Paris's apartment and the restaurant and the bakery. And it's like they're on one street. They're all on one street. So you pay, and it's in the Latin Quarter. You make all this effort to go there. It's one street. You're done with it in 5 minutes. And you're kind of like, okay, well, what now? And the truth is Emily went to every place that's popular in Paris. So it's like you're getting an Emily in Paris tour. You just don't know it.
Well, Julia, speaking of Emily in Paris, do you think we're ready to start some trivia with Allison?
I'm feeling a little nervous, but I think I can do it.
You're going to do great. You're going to do great.
You're going to kill it. Okay, I'm going to take the first one. Here's a quote from a review of a TV show on the site Allocine. Embarrassing series, completely wrong image of Paris. It's ridiculous. Badly acted, as if Paris was all about fashion, romance, and croissants. No. Which show is this review about?
I'm gonna have to say Emily in Paris.
Yes. Yay. What do French people think of Emily in Paris?
It's very controversial. I have a lot of friends that like it. Like myself, I like it because I get to see all the monuments at their finest. It's beautiful, and it's amazing. But at the same time, I understand the complaints because it's very unrealistic. Nobody's wearing high heels in the streets. It's not sunny every single day, and we don't walk into hot men's apartments repeatedly. So,
speak for yourself, Alice.
yeah, you're right. I am. I'm being a little presumptuous.
What are the shows and movies that people want to see? That you mentioned Emily in Paris earlier, but are there other like Sex and the City, Moulin Rouge? Yeah, what are the other movies, Paris set movies?
Devil Wears Prada. Yeah.
Well, there's so many movies, but I think we kind of overlook some of the TV series. In America, we're used to having like really high quality TV, like HBO and stuff is like fantastic. But on Netflix, you can see Call My Agent. And in France, it's called 10%.
Yeah.
And which is 10% because the agents get a 10% fee. And it's on its third year, and it is fabulous. It's really great. It's a really nice, fresh, modern look at the city. And fairly realistic if you're in that field. That's definitely like my go-to. I try to get people to go back. It's like Back to the Future. I swear it's so old at this point, but Amelie, not Emily. is just such a classic, and they re-released it this year in France, and I'm hoping that it does so well that they do a worldwide, because there's an entire generation of people that don't know the film, and it's really a classic. I think it holds up to the time.
It's so beautiful too. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay. Question 2. Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl was one of the OG drummers of this Royal Bent band, set to be the first act ever to play a concert inside the catacombs. Which band?
Oh my gosh. I have no clue.
Queens of
There's a clue in the...
Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, no. See, I'm from the Stone Age, and
I Eva wrote this question.
No.
I was kind of like, not to put you on the spot. I'm like,
That's okay.
I know who Dave Grohl is. Kind of.
I don't know who Queens of the Stone Age
Yes,
is?
I know who they are, but I'm not like,
You know who they is.
now that I know they're having a concert in the catacombs, I am interested.
It's cool. I thought it was a cool... I'm not like some super fan or anything, but,
Well, that was very insider. I'm proud of you. You've taught me something as well.
Thank you. I'm trying.
So, okay, the catacombs...
I was intrigued based on performing in the catacombs. Like, that sounds terrifying. They're supposed to do it, like, this week or next week.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, we heard that there are people who live down there. Is that true?
No, they don't live down there, but there's I think they call them cataphiles that actually...
What?
Yeah, that go into the catacombs, from various access points that are kind of secret, and do things because there's underground pools and stuff, and they show movies and have parties, and yeah, I know. I've tried desperately to get in on that bandwagon, and they are very much exclusive to French people only.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, though, but that's so cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because I saw on TikTok, there's people that underground dwellers, and if you try to explore, they'll grab your flashlight and run away, and you can get underneath with certain drain covers.
Right. Well, they're very possessive of their area, so they defend it. And I understand that, but at the same time, it's something to be jealous about as well.
Yes.
Oh my god.
In less dangerous trivia, less scary trivia, Nepo baby alert. Charlotte Gainsbourg's Maman was the inspiration for this iconic and very expensive accessory.
I'm going to say I don't know.
Okay, the answer is the Birkin bag.
Yeah, but that wasn't her. That was Jan Birkin, and not her. I thought that you were talking about her.
Oh,
no, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I was talking about her mom.
Okay,
yeah.
No, I didn't hear mom. I would have said Birkin and a
sorry. No, that was my bad French. Sorry. Charlotte Gainsbourg Maman was the inspiration.
And just as an FYI, she just opened up the Serge Gainsbourg Museum on the left bank as well.
Cool.
So
that's awesome.
You can actually go there and see many half-smoking cigarettes if that is your desire.
That's incredible.
Top of my list. I loved this bit of trivia. The bag was created when Jane Birkin met Jean-Louis Dumas, then executive chairman of Hermès. He just sketched out the bag because she had spilled open her diaper bag and was explaining to him she couldn't find a suitable bag that was also stylish, and he just drew it on the spot.
Who knew?
Yeah, very cool.
I would love to have how much are they? How much do they run? 50?
They start they're at $8,000 to $10,000. They
go even higher. If you have exotic leather, it goes up to car prices.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I saw something, the most expensive one ever sold was $1 million, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Victoria Beckham has an entire collection that's supposed to be unreal.
Really?
Ooh.
I want that museum. Yeah. I want that museum.
Do you guys know about Bergen bags? This is the actress Candice Bergen. The actress, she paints little drawings on other designer bags, and then I don't know if she sells them or she just gives them to her friends, but there is a website.
It's on her Instagram,
that's bergenbags.com.
I can't even afford those.
What were you going to ask you?
I was going to ask if I was going to ask you how French women feel about designer brands and designer designer items in general. Because every time I've been to France or just Europe, Western Europe in general, women are extremely stylish, but like they shop at Mango and H&M and look very put together, but I know it's not anything like crazy elaborate.
Yeah, there's nothing more classy than a crisp white shirt, and there's a way that the women know how to carry that off with such ease and grace. I think that they're really into being understated, but at the same time, it's like key accessories like a Birkin just are their popping thing that you really notice, or really good shoes. They go for designers that are not going to necessarily, it's like with splashy logos all over. But the style is very important to the culture, even though, they don't wear a lot of makeup. It's like intentional, not makeup. It's intentional messy hair, where you have to really work on making it look messy.
All right. Well, we'll do a question 4. The Olympics of Patisserie is called the Pastry Grand Prix, and this year the competition was sports themed in honor of the games. Which Olympic event was represented in cake form in the winning patisserie?
Oh my God, you guys are killing me with these questions. I have no clue. I can tell you where the best baguette is, but...
Okay, well, tell us where the best baguette is. That is information we'll accept.
Yes.
Okay, that's Utopie in the 10th, and it is close to Canal Saint Martin. It's fantastic, and the thing that's really cool about it is being the winner of the year, they're the ones that supply the baguettes to their version of the White House for the year.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's prestige.
It was a diving board, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Right. Thanks for the segue.
Pastry. Yeah, that was literally, I was going to ask you where your favorite places to get pastries.
Tell me about the pastry, though. Which one is it?
Okay, so it was called the Diving Opera, and it was an opera cake. It was created by Michelin-starred pastry chef Ramin Sami. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And he is the owner of the gourmet donut store Momsy.
Okay, well, just say donuts, and you explain everything.
I don't know if I want to get a donut in Paris, though.
It's this year's hot thing. Last year it was brownies. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So pedestrian.
I'm very curious about what the French take on a brownie would be.
Sounds like decadent and rich.
Yeah, it's similar to an American brownie. I don't think it's as good, but at the same time, it's like it's a novelty to them, like it is having French food in the United States.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's so true. That totally makes sense. Is Dominique Ansel still like considered huge there, or is he just huge here?
He's huge there.
He's huge there too.
Yes.
The inventor of the cronut. Okay.
Yeah, the cronut is not a big deal right now. Right now, everybody's into the crookie.
The crookie? What is it? A croissant cookie?
Yes, it is.
What?
Yeah.
Like a laminated cookie? Is that what it's like?
They, when they're rolling out the dough for the croissant, they put cookie dough in it. So the two of them bake together.
Okay, I want that.
Is it good?
It's kind of madness.
That sounds kind of great, though.
Just butter. Yeah. It sounds like, but is it thick? I need a crookie now.
Oh, you know what? I will send you a picture because
please. I need to.
They're pretty decadent. It's pretty rich.
I feel like we have to get on a flight after this.
I know. I'm
recording.
Very excited. I know. Okay.
I have the last question. Okay. I think you'll get this one though. Or maybe you won't. Actually.
I like we were they're so easy. We were having too much fun writing them.
Well, it's Julia's fault. She always teases me for making too easy questions. Paris syndrome notably refers to the intense and sometimes psychosis-inducing affliction experienced by culture-shook travelers to Paris. Stendhal syndrome is a similar ailment experienced by travelers overwhelmed by what artful European city?
Venice?
No.
Probably, though, also.
Probably also, though.
Florence?
It's Florence. Florence. Ding, 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 ding.
Perfect.
Yay. Allison, 5 stars. Okay. You won trivia.
Yeah, you did it. You gave us baguette recommendations,
yes.
which is, that's
invaluable.
I failed every question, but I had a good rebuttal.
Yes.
Perfect.
That's all that matters on this show.
Right.
Currency of carbs. Julia, should we take a short break and come back?
Yep. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about being an American in Paris.
And we're back. So people, Allison, I appreciate you leveling the playing field and identifying Parisians as haters. Romantic, beautiful, cool haters, but haters. But people have thoughts in general about the French, specifically about what the French think about Americans, which we've kind of touched on. So we thought for today's quandary, we'd talk about how much French do you have to know to avoid being seen rude as an American?
Generally speaking, people are in tourist areas. They're not really in the 15th or, some of the more outskirty areas where it's a little bit more real. So being in the center of town or being near a monument, the chances of them speaking English are extremely high. So you don't really have to get by on French skills, but at the same time, you are in a foreign country, and being that, you should make an effort to speak the language in some way. And so that's the thing that upsets them, is that you're not even saying bonjour. And that is like the one word that everybody knows in French.
Yes.
So instead of, or we don't say bonjour, or we don't even say hello. We just say, excuse me, where's the restroom? And that's considered rude, because you would first say, hello, can you tell me where the restroom is? So, you don't really need to have a lot.
That one I know from French class. Est-ce que je peux aller aux toilettes? Because she would make us ask in French.
Perfect. That was excellent French.
Thank you so much.
Passed.
I did when I've been to Paris twice, and I went with my family. Or no, this was when I was in college, and I went with a group of friends. But I was in a cab, and it was so funny because I had my broken high school French, and the cab driver was also an immigrant to Paris, so he didn't know French very well. And between us, we both knew we had the same level of French, and we were able to have a conversation. And the cab ride was maybe 20 minutes long or something. But by the end of the cab ride, I was like, thank God I'm getting off, because I've reached the end of my French. I've run out. I have no more vocabulary words.
I understand.
Yeah, I think most places the effort is always appreciated. I think there's this intimidation with Paris specifically because Parisians are known for being but I think that's part of, traveling, and, even myself, I'm most comfortable when I, feel like I have a grasp on the language. So someplace I'm learning Italian. And Italians are much more wow, you speak Italian, wow. And French are switch to English. I've had the switch up on me. So yeah, we've been put that in our show notes, talking about the phenomenon of, or not the phenomenon, but the happenstance that could occur, that you're trying and they just switch to English. But really, I think that's for your benefit.
I was going to say, is that polite on their end? If you're trying your French and they're I'm just going to do English. Are they trying to be nice?
It's kind of a combination, and I mean, I've lived there for 8 years now, and still there's many times where I go up to somebody and start speaking French to them, and they just will answer me in English, and I feel defeated.
Yes.
And it's a combination of them wanting to use their English, or there's the other side of it where they know that it's just painful, and that if they can just end the conversation quickly, they will not have to look at you any longer.
Oh no. I was reading an article from last year that said that France was trying to shed its rude reputation ahead of the Olympics, and they did a whole ad campaign called "Do You Speak Touriste?"
God.
Do you know about this? I was going to say, how effective was the campaign? Apparently not very.
No, not effective. This one I have not heard of, but in defense of the rudeness, I have to say that people mistake them quite often. When you can't get the bill at the cafe, it's not that they're ignoring you, although they probably are a little bit, but they want you to enjoy your experience and they don't want to disturb you. They want you to feel that you can stay there for however long you want to. And so it's actually very polite of them, but we mistake it as, not being attentive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think as Americans and Californians specifically, because I'm originally from the East Coast, but I find myself adopting very California passiveness.
Yes.
And I feel like Americans in general are very reserved, but I feel like it's very liberating in the French way to show you're pissed off, be visibly pissed off or be visibly, emotional. I was watching videos of the French election and people reacting to seeing things on TV and how the election played out. And the French people were openly weeping and sobbing in joy. And I just found that so amazing and fascinating. And I feel envious of it because Americans aren't like that.
It's so funny that you say that because on my side of things, we see Americans as being almost overly friendly.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, because to the French, they are pretty reserved, but passionate. They come from a revolutionary background, so there are weekly demonstrations that happen on Saturday, and there's a strike calendar that they keep because when you're going to strike, you register with the government.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love that.
We could learn a thing or two or 10, 100.
People are worried that there are going to be strikes during the Olympics, right? Or is that?
Well, it's I hear that also. I really doubt it. I think that it's kind of a threat to make sure that they get what they want sooner. But the truth of the matter is that, during the summer is when most Parisians go on, or French people in general go on their vacations. So nobody wants to strike when they're on vacation. They're not even going to be in town for that.
That's so true. Question for you that's semi-related, but you mentioned siesta, most of Europe takes off in August. Where do Parisians go on vacation?
For the majority of them, they have second homes that have belonged to the family, and they'll either go up to Normandy or down to the south. Some people will, depending on their financial situation, will do big trips overseas. It's common to go to New York because it's a fairly easy flight. But some people will go all the way to French Polynesia because obviously it's somewhere where they can speak French, but they also get island life.
Wow.
Well, if any French people are listening to this and they are going to go to French Polynesia and they need somebody to stay in their house in the south of France, I'm available.
She can take care of dogs, cats.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm available too. I can clear my schedule. I like horses. We will take what we can get. Is France also a part of, I feel like there's so many locales in Europe that are move here and you can buy a castle for $5. It's happening definitely in Ireland and Italy. Is France GTFO? No.
Well, Paris, France in general is really has a lot of English people living here. Yeah, it's very common to have a second home in France. Brexit was devastating to those people. They had to do a lot of trading their, getting their visas and so forth because it was no longer part of the EU. But yes, you can buy a really reasonably priced chateau. But at the same time, the renovations are going to really drive the price up because these places are extremely old and the owners are just happy to be rid of it.
That is the setup of like a perfect rom-com, though.
I know,
like,
Julia.
You're renovating a chateau. All right. Well, that's now what my goal in life.
I know.
I think we've come to the end.
Allison, we could literally stay with you all day and ask silly French questions and practice our very poor French with you. But sadly, we've come to the end of our show. But we want to thank you for being a phenomenal guest and teaching us so much. I feel like we got a crash course in Paris this entire episode.
Well, hopefully you guys will come over and I'll be able to teach you even more, unless you teach me more with your outstanding trivia. Thank you both so much for having me. I really appreciate your time, and it's been a lot of fun for me too.
Thank you so much. And tell us where can people find you? Where can people find your tours?
You can go to Tower to Bridge Tours, and I have TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have my own website. Really looking forward to seeing you, hearing from you, and making your memories.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
What a lovely note to leave us on. Thank you so much, Allison.
Thank you.
Phenomenal time. We'll talk soon. We'll see you in Paris. Together in Paris. Has anyone seen Anastasia? Together in Paris. Ah.
We'll always have Paris.
We'll always have Paris.
That brings us to the end. Thank you so much to Allison for joining us.
And you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts or on the Cerca app for iOS. That is CERCA.
And that's also where you can get Cerca's audio guides to your favorite destinations like Barcelona, Paris, Rome, etc., all written and voiced by locals like Allison. Just search Cerca in the Apple App Store.
And you can follow my online and in real life adventures at Eva Pants on Instagram.
And I'm at Julia Moser with 4 R's on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok with 5 R's.
Thanks for listening and bon voyage!